Hello, boys. It's me, the Feral. I hope the seasons treated you well. They did for me, all right. But just then you know, it was actually my first Christmas and New Year's as a MGTOW, and it was quite different. I mean, I only bought myself gifts and just a few others who were, obviously important to my life. But anyway, I wanted to talk about male space. You see, I was invited to a friend's house the other day, and we had a couple of cigars with, I think we had some coffee too. We were just talking. We were in his garage just talking. And one thing I noticed is that's why men that's why men had male spaces back then, they had those what is it, those moose clubs, and men only, because when men are only around men and they understand each other, they have good conversation, meaningful conversations. I'm sure you've already seen this and known that already. And whenever a woman comes in, they only bring in their feelings and how they feel about what we're talking about. You see, but the thing is that doesn't solve most of the questions that men have for the world. So when we were doing this, one thing I've come to understand is that because I've been talking to my friends, I haven't really blurred out that I'm MGTOW yet, but maybe one day I will. But what I have done is, how do you say it, poison the tea. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but that's how I've been doing it with friends. Is I've been pointing out red pill ideals and things that only red pill men can see. The other day, someone asked me, besides sex, what else does a woman offer? And you may say companionship, but to an extent, I guess, but not really, not to my eyes. Usually when I see a beautiful woman that I'm talking to, the only thing that goes through my mind is some kind of lust. And I'm just now happy that I'm aware of that. Because now I can see it coming a mile away and I can just hold my urges down and let the red pill take over my mind. It's the red pill's getting stronger every time. Oh, my phone went off. But yeah, I throw out little bits of red pill knowledge to my friends, and I'm starting to see more and more that they're becoming awake to it. Because now, one of my friends, he has his girlfriend has his girlfriend on a little bit of a leash now. He does what he wishes, and she has no complaints about it. Because he's told her before, you can either go my way, or you can go the front doorway, out of my house and out of my life. I like that. That's kind of cool. He wasn't like that before, not until I started talking to him about these issues. We start talking about the nature of women, and it's how most of them are usually just parasites. And I think the only woman that really love us men, I mean, to an extent, is probably only our mothers. I mean, but then, I mean, that's if that possibly, like, I don't know how everyone else's circumstances are with their parents. So yeah, that's one thing I've come to understand is with the male space is we as men, we like to talk, we like to bring up ideas and just see what we could come up with. Philosophy is pretty fun to talk about sometimes, and I get a kick out of it, you know. And I won't lie, you know, when I had that cigar, it was really nice. I wasn't really a big fan of cigars, but since I had one a couple of days ago, it's not that bad. You just don't inhale, I guess. It's fine by me, as long as I don't mess up my lungs. Don't give me that bullshit about I know you can get cancer from it. Just I'm not a big cigar smoker. Just that one time. But anyway, yeah. So that's one thing I come to realize is how men we psychologically know this is that when we're talking with other men, we'll talk about issues, problems with the world, but when a woman comes into the room and comes into the conversation, it immediately changes. Especially if she's a good-looking woman, but if she's an ugly woman, I think we still change. You know, we don't ask the provoking questions that we should when a woman's in the room. It's like we dumb down the conversation just to compensate for her being in the conversation. Now, I love doing my little experiments, and I kind of notice this with people, especially with the red pill philosophy going through my mind a lot. So I went to see an old friend of mine from high school. We went to the bars when I went to go see him at the bars, hang out, have a couple drinks, catch up. I haven't seen this guy in 6 years now, so you know, I was excited to see him again. So I didn't know that he would bring his girlfriend along too. So that kind of made things somewhat interesting. I mean, at first I was a little, you know, inside of mind I was like, oh man, really? And I just got over it and sadly did one of my experiments. And so what I did is I was talking to him. At first I was just talking to him, you know. And I was paying attention to only him. I was looking at him the whole time. And his girlfriend came up, would say her 2 cents here and there about this and that, about what we're talking about. And one thing that I noticed and saw whenever she would talk is that it was always her words and her topics were always connected or centered on her. And half the time it had nothing to do with what we were talking about. It was usually just about her. And I would acknowledge her and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's nice, that's cool. And then I would look back to my friend and start talking to him. You know, I treated her kind of like I would when I'm with a parent, you know, with their daughter. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cute. Look, she can play the piano a little bit. That's nice. And I just keep talking to my friend because you know, I don't really take women seriously. It's hard to take women seriously now with the red pill knowledge. You just see them as children trying to impress you now. And man, it's mind-boggling sometimes when I think about that. I don't know, man. So she started getting angry because, well, not at me, but at my friend, because me and him were just talking, and I can tell he was having a good time. He was having just a ball talking about the past and catching up. You know, like we were just, you know, putting each other up to speed about our lives. But she didn't like the fact that no one was really acknowledging her. And she started pointing out his flaws. All his flaws about how he's a bad man, he's not fair and all that. I knew what she was trying to do. She was trying to, and she was looking at me in the face, like right in the eyes, when she was talking about how terrible he is. She was trying to get me on her side. She was trying to turn me into. She was trying to put the white knight armor on me. And every time it just didn't work, I would just be like, oh no, I'm not putting this on. Like mentally, but yeah, you know what I mean. So it didn't work. Every single time she tried to, put me on her side, that's what she was trying to. She was trying to put me on her side. She was talking about her problems. She was talking about everything about her, and she was talking about how he was a bad man. He's not fair with her. It's like, oh my gosh, like, because I will say this, for like an hour we were talking, we weren't really acknowledging what she was saying. We did, but we didn't really take it seriously. We didn't pull it into the conversation that we were talking about because it had nothing to do with what we were talking about at all. So she got mad and started acting like a child that didn't get her way, But around the end, I noticed that she started becoming a little bit more obedient to my friend. For some odd reason, it was strange. That was very strange. I think because without saying anything and without really showing too much, being very subtle with Red Pill, it kind of put her in her place. And I think she saw that because around the last 20 minutes we were hanging out, she didn't really talk. She was just sitting there like this. Watch. She was sitting like a good dog. Oh man, that's funny. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about is, male space. It is a serious thing, like men need to talk to other men so that they may vent out what they're thinking and what's going on in their mind, and they can't get that from a woman because a woman just cannot comprehend the mind of a man. And it just doesn't fit, And I will say one more thing too, because sometimes I hang out with friends who are couples, and I'm usually like the fifth man or seventh man and all that, and I realize that because most men these days in relationships, they don't know how to put their woman out of the male space, like get her out, we need to talk, So most people in relationships, they always involve their woman in the men's space. So basically, there really is no space for men when we're out and about. But it's just because of that. I like to talk about red pill ideals and philosophy, and like I said before, women just can't comprehend the questions and the thoughts that men have. It's beyond their understanding. And sorry, I had my coffee and man, I'm almost burping here. my apologies. So they can't understand what we're talking about. They can't comprehend it. And in doing that, like I feel like because I don't like to dumb down my conversations just for the pity, just for someone who doesn't understand. I'm not gonna. I only do that for one type of person or two type of people, basically. A person who doesn't understand it, I'll sit down, I'll try to, ABC it through with him. Or two, a young child who is just learning about life, I actually kind of like teaching kids, teaching kids, because I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I teach my nephews really just a little bit ways of life, because I understand that they get it. Most of what I say to them, it sinks in. And it's good for a young boy to have some kind of little bit of mentoring along the way as they get older. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today is, the men's space. Most men don't understand that they need they need to push their woman out of the way in order to enjoy their space in men's space. Because when you're in men's space, you can talk about everything you want with your friends. And one thing I was going at is that, or I was getting at, is the fact that whenever I'm with a bunch of people who are in relationships, I feel like I actually don't fit in anymore. Because most relationships, the women, you've already seen this, MGTOWs, is that most women are in control of the relationship, and since they're in control of the relationship, whenever there's a conversation, it's mostly about what they want to talk about, not what the man wants to talk about. It's what they want to talk about. So that's why I don't really like fitting in with groups of people, because there's always a woman in there. And rest assured, most men, and the majority of men, aren't MGTOW. They're all white knights, manginas, and simps. So sorry, I think it's kind of hard to breathe. So that's why it's hard to have a good conversation with most men these days, because they're all worried about, oh, where can I get my next fix of a woman? Where can I get my next validation from a woman? And it's like, dude, there's more to life than just women. You know, women aren't the answer to your life at all. They're just something that sticks on you along the way of success. You could either remove it or keep it. It's up to you, really. And like I was saying before about what else do women bring? I don't know if I've answered this or not, but I'll just say it again if I already said it. But they only offer sex, and that's pretty much it if you're a red pill man. But if you're a blue pill man, they offer sex, companionship, and validation. But that's not the last two aren't real. It's an illusion. Illusion we're all fed throughout our lives, and you men know this already. If you're listening to this video, you already know it, man. You already know it. And try this out for size, man. If you're listening to this, my viewers, look into NoFap. See if you can mix the two in, NoFap and MGTOW, putting them together. Not a bad combo if you ask me. Because when a man starts to control his sexual urges, is the first step to being, I think, first step to becoming a wise man and a strong man, strong-willed. All right, guys, I've been talking too much. I want to get the day started here, get back to work and all that. I've been busy because I haven't made any videos because I've been busy lately. I just started making sales on my artwork, so just been busy. I think I might be getting calls sometime next week for orders. But yeah, MGTOWs, you just prepare and saddle up for whatever comes our way, man. Just always be prepared. Be on your guard no matter what. Don't let any woman eye wink you into submission, alright? Just be strong. We are the ones who built societies. We built structures, skyscrapers. I don't know what to tell you, man. Look around you. We built all of this. And what have women accomplished? I think they finished, I think they got a nice haircut, and I think they did their nails last week. That's as far as they go. Alright, guys. You take it easy, alright? And, Happy New Year's, by the way. And I hope you fulfill your resolutions this year. Take it easy, guys.